OK, great news, everyone. Our MVP is a total success.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our MVP is a total success, and many passengers are using our web application to find their space train ahead of their trip to Mandalore. Although maybe it's suffering a bit from its success, because a lot of people just end up showing up at the spaceport only to be told that all the space trains are already full.
I'm curious who had that brilliant idea to create an MVP which only displays the net schedule without the possibility of booking them, and believed it will not cause any frustration to users.
The KPI is number of users. We don't care about this. But now we do have to actually build a booking system, so I think we can just think on the front end and see how we can update it to add this. So we have all the outbound and inbound space trains that fit our search here.
Stop. You're talking too much. Since I know you made bad choices for the MVP, I already implemented the booking feature, and this is up and running in production.
You did what?
So you will see that it was really easy to implement. I don't know why you put that out of scope. But let me do some demonstration first. So this is our search form, right?
OK, you didn't change anything?
Because it doesn't have to change. The change is later. Let me show you. So let's say we want to do a round trip. And let's say that we depart from Coruscant, right? And we want to go to Mandalore.
Obviously.
Obviously. But, sorry. OK, Mandalore is there. And now, when we hit search, we no longer see the outbound and inbound space train. We only see the outbound ones. And you have to make a choice between the first class and second class fare you can see here. Let's say that we would like to travel in first class. By clicking on it, it will populate my selection panel on the right.
Yeah, you deployed code that just doesn't work. Look, you can't even click on this button.
But that's normal, man, because I would like to do a round trip. I have to select an inbound space train. That's why the UI has changed here on the left.
OK, so you have the choice between two space trains only for this search?
Yeah, this is the only one compatible with the one I've selected. You want to criticize everything, or I can perform my demonstration?
No, please proceed.
OK. So let's say that we would like to go back in second class fare. See now, the selection is complete, so the book button is enabled. And if I click on that, the trip is booked. You can see the first class fare selected for the outbound space train, the second class fare for the inbound space train, and the total price that includes the taxes for our users.
OK, I'm impressed. You did manage to make code that compiles.
It does more than compiling, it's working.
Yeah, well, let's make a code review and then we'll see that.
OK, you can call that first. But let me check out my BBOM branch first.
Why would you call that BBOM?
Because that's the best backend of Mandalore.
Yeah, you sure it's not because it's a big ball of mud?
Why?
Look at this. You have only one domain, right?
Yes.
And in one domain, you have both booking and search, two completely different aggregates. And the booking happens after the search. They have completely disjointed lifecycle. When you have something like this, you need to go microservices.
Microservices?
This is the way.
But not at all, man. You don't even know the code and the domain. You're already talking about some fancy architecture. Here, search and bookings are way too coupled. Does that make sense? I will show you. And the fact that here, as you can see, booking does only one thing. It computes the total price. It doesn't deserve its own microservice just for that.
OK, it does one thing, but clearly it does it weirdly. To compute the total price, you add for each space train the price of the first of the fares. That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean the first of the fares?
OK, I'll explain you that. You know that I'm a 10x Mandalorian, right? So I know how to code fast. And I'll explain you why we have that. You see here the booking need a space train class. But this one was made for the search originally. That's why here you have a list of fare. Remember, you have to select between first and second class fare. But since I have to implement the booking feature and I have to represent a space train as well, in the case of the booking, there is only one fare, the one that has been selected. Since I don't want to rerun the wheel again, I just have to reuse that class and do that little adaptation there. I can call safely first on that list because I know that in that case, we'll only have one fare.
Safely?
And I'm saving a lot of money from the company.
You call that safely? You're not a 10x Mandalorian. I just end up doing 90% of your job, so that's why you think you're going 10 times faster than everyone else.
When was the last time you changed one piece of code?
Well, you'll see I'm about to. So, as you can see here, you're reusing the space train of the search, and you said it yourself, so it's causing issues because the booking is not made to use such a space train. And this is why you have this thing here, which is clearly a modal tension. So, in a booking microservice, what will the space train look like, right? We don't need the bound because we already selected our space trains. We don't need the compatible space train. Once again, we already selected it. We need a single fare, the selected one. And you know what, everything that's inside the space train, actually, we don't even need this. It's related to stuff we just removed. The space train for the booking is much more simple. It's much more focused. This is all you need. And most importantly, it gets rid of this model tension. And there you have it, actual structural safety.
OK, so if I understand well, you want me to duplicate the whole code here just to go microservices to simplify one line of code here? Are you totally mad?
It's not about one line of code. It's about having consistent models. But since you can't understand this, I'm going to make you a drawing. So here is your big ball of mud. And inside, there is a second model, which is actually implicit, which is a booking model. And it's reusing parts of the search. If you want to have a model that actually works, you need to duplicate everything for the booking and specialize it in another microservice. And there you have it, decoupled models.
Yeah, I can see you're a real architect, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, because with you guys, schemas always compile on paper, but in production, this is another story.
Such a cliché.
It's not a cliché, it's not working. I will show you why. Let's see it from the code. So if I understand, you want to duplicate all the concepts and specialize it for the booking. OK, so tell me how you will specialize the schedule for the booking.
OK, so departure, we still need the departure time, arrival time as well, the duration between the two, well, we still need that.
Yeah, you still have to make sure that the departure of your space train is after now, because you don't want to book train in the past. And the arrival space time is after its departure, because I think we didn't invent time travel yet.
OK, you have one class that's the same between two microservices. Big deal.
It's not one class, because unlike you, me, I'm writing something that maybe you don't know, which is called the test. And you will have to duplicate all the tests as well.
Come on, it's one concept. You understood what I meant.
It's not one concept. This is the rest of the application. Because now we have what? We have the fare. In the fare, we have the comfort class. This is first and second. Perhaps to become blue and yellow in the case of the booking?
No, obviously not.
No, obviously not. Then we have the price, with an amount and a currency. Maybe one of them will disappear for the booking? Quite sure it won't.
Nope.
We have the ability to some prices, and if we do, make sure the currencies match. Quite sure we would like to keep it as well. Currencies is just a list of currencies. Same thing again, it will be the same between search and booking. And then the amount, with just only one thing. It makes sure that the value is strictly positive, but perhaps Mr. wants that to be negative in the case of the booking, so we pay our users to travel with us. Okay. This is a great marketing campaign, your microservices.
Enough, I understand. There is a lot of duplication, OK. But it's just a price to pay. This is a trade-off to have decoupling. So
it's not the price to pay. You are just multiplying the cost of development. You are making always the same mistake. You thought that because we are duplicating stuff like that, we earn decoupling. But that's just paper, man, because it's not, in our case, here, schedule, price, comfort, class, and fare, they are exactly the same thing. So you cannot be sure in the future that we won't have to implement a feature the same way in both cases. For example, the galactic time zones. You know this is a pain he has to implement, right?
Yeah, this one's
You
hard.
really want that to be implemented twice with the test in the schedule of the search, in the schedule of the booking?
OK, this feature is annoying.
Yeah. And the thing is that duplicating doesn't necessarily mean decoupling when the things are conceptually coupled, like here. And you were trolling me about the fact that I created a big ball of mud, a spaghetti monolith. But like I said, the booking and the search are way too coupled. And the thing is that today, they communicate to each other through method calls. If you go microservices, what it will become?
Network calls?
And it has the same cost as method calls, perhaps?
No, obviously.
No, obviously not. You're just scaling the cost of development, production, and so on. And the thing is, since they are conceptually coupled, you will have to implement one feature on the side and on the other side, like the galactic time zone, and make sure to deliver them at the same time. Is that even permitted by the microservices philosophy?
This is not the way.
No, this is not the way, because here you have created something even worse, a distributed big ball of mud.
OK, I get your point. We have a lot of coupling, but I think it's just because we haven't found the right boundaries between our systems.
It's not a matter of that. It's a matter that you are trying to split into services too early.
No, I'm pretty sure I have a way of finding it right away.
And how?
I'm going to ask the intern.
Oh, not him.
Come on, we have to supervise this learning.
But what for? I don't see the point.
The point is simple. We give it all the boring stuff, and we can do the fun things.
Like what? We give them the code to write, and then we will do Jiras and estimate that in user story point. That will become our job?
We can do UML as well.
what?
ChatCPO.
Hello, Master. How may I be of service to you today?
Split the domains, Droid.
On what basis should I make such a pivotal decision? Should I leave it to chance or perhaps seek counsel from the latest gossip droid? Why not employ that organic lump you refer to as a brain?
Oh, in fact, I like him.
I don't?
Yeah, I understand why. You're not using your organic lump as a brain. He's right.
Well, you're the expert on lump. I saw what you just coded.
OK, enough. But you score a point. It's true that maybe I have too many coupling in what I did.
Thank you.
It's true that the search and the booking have disjointed life cycle. Once the search has been converted into a booking, we no longer care about the search. The lifespan of a search is something like 10 minutes, while the booking can last 3 months. So maybe we can find a better way to modularize what we have done. But perhaps our mistake was to trying to do that through the concepts. What if we tried that time to find boundaries, but through the behaviors instead?
Well, to do domain-driven design, I guess this is the way.
Exactly. So today, our behaviors are implemented in that Model Express domain service.
Model Express because it's the only entry point of our application.
Exactly. And as you can see, it implements several features here represented by these interfaces.
Yeah, and retrieve spaceport, search for space train, and select space train. I know these, they're used for the search.
Exactly. I just added the book space train here feature.
OK, so we can split according to these implementations then?
Absolutely. And then you can see that all those interfaces, they are gathered in an API package at the root level of the domain.
OK, so that's pretty simple. We just send book space train in one microservice and the rest in another one.
OK, so before going microservices, I'm proposing you to first split in place to see if we can have decoupled model to avoid becoming a distributed big ball of mud.
Yeah, sure, if you want.
OK. So we have seen how to split the implementation and how to dispatch the features, the interfaces. But there is as well some dependencies here. Those are the repositories. I just added the bookings repository for the book space train feature.
OK, so if only the booking repository is used in the booking, we can just split according to this as well.
Exactly. But those things are as well interfaces, as they are defined in the SPI package at the root level of the domain. But those interfaces are not implemented by my domain. They're implemented by the infrastructure layer, because this is database concerns. We won't see that part today.
OK. We can just dispatch these as well, then?
Yeah. OK, so maybe we can find a way to dispatch them. So first, SHA-3PO, can you create 2 new domains, booking and search, and duplicate and specialize Model Express according to the cut we have done?
Although we can't keep calling it Model Express on both sides, so on booking we can't call it like a space train booker.
And space train finder in the search.
Yep.
Another day, another opportunity to dazzle the universe with my brilliance.
I had no idea it had a voice on it.
Yeah, but you will see it's pretty full of himself. As you can see now, we have 2 new domains, booking and search. In the booking domain, we have the API, the feature, the contract of book space train, which is implemented by Space Train Booker, which was Model Express, but cleaned up from the responsibilities of the search. And all the dependencies are here in the SPI with the bookings repository. On the other end, we have the search domain with Space Train Finder, which is Model Express, but cleaning up from the responsibilities of the booking. And then we have all the interfaces for the feature of the search and the SPI with all the repositories. So it did the right cut.
So we're done with behavior. I think now we can move on with the concepts. And well, to get started, booking and search are each used on one side.
Yeah, so SHA-3PO, dispatch them in their own domain.
Here I am, brain the size of a planet, and they ask me to move some files around.
More like Ego the size of a planet, am I right?
Yeah, I told you. So, OK, so booking it's in its own domain and search as well. But as you can see here, we have 2 new domains and the rest of our big ball of mud with criteria and so on. We need to figure out where we should put all the things. To do so, I'm proposing to go through one of the aggregates, let's say here the booking. And let's see what kind of concept it needs to do the dispatch. And as you can see here, we have the space train once again.
Well, for the space train, it's pretty obvious, right? I already showed you how you can specialize it for the booking. OK,
so if I understand well, SHA-3PO make a duplication of space train and specialize it in the booking in a way that it only has one fare. There's no compatible space train and no bound, because those things are needed for the search.
Do organic organics even have fingers?
Oh, keep this up and you're going to see mine from pretty close.
You're not able to hit AIs. It's not permitted.
Boring.
So here you can see we no longer have the space train in the big ball of mud part, but we should have now in the search a version of it that is like we used to have, and a new version in the booking that looks like what you showed us earlier, specialized for the booking.
More importantly, we get rid of the model tensions that we had.
Oh, the code does not even compile there.
Okay, this droid is absolutely useless. So chat3PO, what we're trying to do here is get rid of this one model tension. So you know what, since it doesn't understand anything, I'm going to try to explain it again. So as we accept that the boundaries between our system and the responsibilities between the search and the booking are still blurred, instead of trying to find them through the concept, we find them through the behaviors. And Mandalore Express is where they implement it. So we start by splitting Mandalore Express between Space Train Finder and Space Train Booker. This shows that search and booking are used each on one side. So we dispatch them as well. And search and booking are choosing space train in a very different way. So we have a model tension happening here, because for a search, a space train has multiple fares that it can select from, and from a booking, there is only one single selected fare. So in order to resolve this model tension, we just duplicate and specialize in each bounded context. And you know what, saying it like this, it makes me realize that the fare is actually where the model tension crystallizes, because on one side we have fare options that we can choose from, and on the other side we have a selected fare. So I suggest we just rename it on both sides to make that obvious.
Okay, so for now, that class is here in the all common part. And if I understand, chat3PO duplicate and specialize fare by renaming it, fare option in the search, and selected fare in the booking.
I'm getting so bored.
If you think this is boring, I'm sending you to PA planning.
I mean, you are not able to do that. It's considered as torture today, even for droids.
It makes sense if you can hit them.
So here, we should have a fare option in the search and a selected fare in the booking. So if I understand well, it's not because they have the same structure that they are the same thing, right? It's
exactly.
like having a human class with a name attribute and a dog class with a name attribute. Maybe you don't want to handle it the same way.
Exactly. It's not because it quacks like a duck that it's necessarily a duck.
Unless you are doing TypeScript, but this is another story.
This is a real language. We don't have this problem here.
So, OK. After that, we did the space train, and we have the schedule to specialize.
Yeah, it feels like we're running in circles, though.
It's true that this one has to remain the same between both domains, but I may have an option.
Sure, what?
What about using one concept of domain-driven design, which is called the shared kernel?
No.
Why not?
Well, if you have a shared kernel, you have to share codes. You can't share codes and go microservices. It doesn't make sense.
But that's exactly the point. We won't do microservices there.
We just had this conversation.
No, this is not what we said. We said that if we were able to have differentiated models, which are decoupled, we'll go to separated runtimes. But here, there is too many things that are still the same between our domains. We have seen that there is schedule, but there is as well amount, comfort class, currency, price. Too many things.
OK, sure, let's do what you want.
Yeah, if you put that in a shared kernel, you will have some flexibility without paying the scale cost of the microservices if you don't need them. So chat3PO move all those concepts that are the same in the shared kernel that you put at the same levels than booking and search.
Like I got nothing better to do.
Does it?
No, it doesn't. It's just showing us. As you can see here, keep it.
Yeah, sure.
Can you stay with us? Here we have the shared kernel with here all the things that has to be the same. And you see now that if I go to the space train, we have here, here in the import, the schedule that comes from the shared kernel.
Fantastic.
And in the booking, we have the schedule also in the space train that comes from the shared kernel as well. So it means that there is not unnecessary duplication of concept and duplication of tests.
Wow. Wait, you didn't even finish the job, though.
What do you mean by that?
Look, you left criteria outside, you left spaceport, you left the bound, and you left the selection here. Just finish what you were starting. You think I'm not seeing what you're trying to do? You're just recreating your big ball of mud, but you place it in a folder that you call shared kernel.
But not at all, man. This is not what we are doing. You are just as stupid as that droid. It's unbelievable. I'm trying to explain it in another way, OK? So let's go through the booking and see from where it takes the concepts. You can see it come either from the booking domain, like the space train, or the shared kernel, like the price, because the price is shared as part of the model with the search, right? If we go to the space train, then you see the schedule come from the shared kernel and the selected fare from the booking. And finally, the selected fare takes everything, comfort class and price, from the shared kernel. So we just went through all the concepts needed by the booking. At no time you have seen any mention of selection, criteria, and so on.
Exactly.
Why? Because they were meant for the search. If you put that in the shared kernel, you will put that at the disposal of the booking, but they were not made for that. And we'll end up with the problem we have seen on the beginning, by reusing a space train with a list of fare, but doesn't make sense to have a list in the case of the booking.
Exactly. If you're trying to solve the problem of the booking and we have next to us all the solution for the problem of the search, we'll be heavily biased toward reusing them and create some conceptual coupling.
Absolutely. And if you do that, you will just pollute and contaminate the shared kernel and recreate your big ball of mud through the shared kernel.
Okay, I prefer that.
So in fact, Chat3PO put all the remaining concepts in the search because they were made for that.
Okay, IntelliJ, do what he said.
I didn't know IntelliJ has that kind of feature.
Pretty sure it doesn't.
You see, now we have something clean with booking search and the shared kernel.
Yeah, I'm not sure where everything went exactly, though.
Yeah, because you were on your phone, but I will do some drawings because it looks like this is the only thing you understand. So we have seen that some concepts, like amount, price, comfort class, schedule, and currencies has to stay the same, identically the same, between booking and search. And the other thing, so we put them apart. And we've seen that some other things like bound, criteria, and selections are only used for the search. So we put that in the domain search. And then what remains in between represents our transitional shared kernel, which is the intersection between our domains.
Exactly. More than this, it's where the area where we believe the boundaries between our system exist, but it's still blurred, so we're not sure where precisely.
Exactly. We accept that the boundaries between our domains are blurry. But we still have some flexibility, because if we discover later that we need, for example, criteria and bound from the search, the same way it has been defined here, for the booking, we just have to put them in the shared kernel with the related test without unnecessary duplication.
Okay, that's pretty good on paper, but we still have some compilation error on the space train booker. The pipeline just broke, so...
Let's see that.
Yeah, what's going on here? Yep. Space train booker. Here's the error. All right. It wants a space train from the booking, and it gets a space train from the search instead.
Okay, but perhaps he did the wrong import.
Yeah, this useless droid, you know. Exactly. So wrong import, you have to replace this. Pretty good. Oh, we have some compilation
there's some
errors
compilation errors.
Yeah, here, we have to change the constructor that we are calling, so we don't need bound
because
anymore.
we changed the structure for the space train of the booking.
Exactly. So no need for bound, no need for compatible space train, and we have to transform the fare option into selected fare now. Pretty good. Okay. Chat3PO set that to production. Wait, is that a search here?
Yes, this is a search.
We're in the middle of the space train booker. We're in the booking, and we're depending on the search. It means we're getting contaminated by literally anything that can be in the search.
Okay, but you see, that this is the reason why I didn't split them at the first place. They're way too coupled. We are just running in circles. But now I have the code in front of me. I can explain you why. So you see here, to be able to create a booking, we need to check first that the selection is completed inside the search.
So you mean you're protecting the booking from states of the search that are not compatible?
Exactly. And then we take a look at what is selected regarding the space train inside the search, and we convert them to the space train of the booking.
So you're translating a model from the search to a model of the booking?
You decided to paraphrase me today, or?
You really don't see where I'm getting at?
Not at all.
Back to the drawing board. Okay, so here, as you can see, you created a direct dependency from the booking to the search, and you're just contaminating the booking with anything that comes from the search. All that because you wanted to translate a space train from the search to a space train of the booking. You're trying to make an anti-corruption layer.
So this is a good thing. Why are you yelling at me like that?
It's a good thing if you're not corrupted, which is clearly not the case here. So if you want this to work, you actually need to move your anti-corruption layer outside of the booking, where it can depend on both the search and the booking to provide it what it needs.
And how do you do that?
Easy. You ask the droid.
You think?
Hey, Chat3PO, extract the ACL. OK, Chat3PO?
I think it doesn't recognize your authority.
Pretty sure it's a Mendelian accent issue.
No, let me try. Chat3PO, extract the anti-corruption layer.
How could I possibly resist the opportunity to perform another menial task for... Okay, wait. I have fashioned an anti-corruption layer, relocated the tests, and adapted the infrastructure.
This is what I call authority.
I see. It can understand culture, I guess.
OK, so let's see what he has done.
All right, so as you can see first, it removed every single dependency we had on the search, so we only depend on the booking now, right? And that's because we call the search only with its ID.
But how does it work? Because we still need to make sure the selection is complete inside that search.
Yeah, we do, right here. And we also make the translation still from the search to the booking model.
But how? What are the things?
Well, now we're just doing it through dependencies, actually.
OK, so we have new dependencies. Those dependencies are just interfaces. Where are they? They are in the SPI of the booking. So it means the booking is defining a contract that will be implemented by someone else.
Exactly.
To offer him a service. But who is that someone else?
Well, in this case, it's not implemented by the infrastructure like the other SPI. This one is implemented in an anti-corruption layer right here, next to the booking and the search. So this is not an infrastructure package, it's another domain package. Yet, because it's outside of both, it can depend on the booking to have the interfaces that it needs to implement, and on the search to have all the concept it needs to implement these interfaces.
OK, so he put there all the conversion, the translation between our two domains here. And since it implements the interfaces of the booking, we will be able to inject an instance of that in the booking domain without corrupting it with the concept of the search he used internally through dependency injection.
Precisely. And we get something that looks like this, with the anti-corruption outside that can protect it. Although we still do have a shared kernel, so what do we do with this? We still can go to microservices.
Unfortunately, we do not have enough hypotheses to know how we can split further. And we have to accept that the boundaries are blurry between our domains. But anyway, you will have to wait because we have some urgent feature to implement.
All right, and when was the last time we had non-urgent feature to implement?
Yeah, you know product owners, right?
Sadly.
So this is the booking summary page. And we have to add now the tax portion here that is included inside the total price. Because without this information, the corporate travelers are not able to expense their trip. So that's why we need to add that.
Great, another tax feature, how exciting. Hey, you know what, we could turn that into a learning opportunity, though.
What do you mean?
Give that to the droid.
Oh, OK, let's try. SHA-3PO implement the tax portion computation in the booking domain by applying 20% rate for the first class and 10% for second class fare.
Oh, and naturally, if you touch the shared kernel, I'm selling you in parts to the Javas.
I think you are mistaken me with your genie of the lamp. Implementing in the selected fare of the booking. Incompatible instructions exception.
Did it crash?
So much for the genie of the lamp.
So let's see.
You said in selected fare?
Selected fare? Oh, he wrote some code, but it doesn't even compile.
It does make sense, so because to compute the tax portion of the selected fare, it gets tax portion of the price based on the tax rate of the comfort class. So, well, you know what, I don't understand why it just didn't go to the end of this. Let's just create the functions he had.
Wait, you are just implementing something he did already, but he put that in comment. This is really weird.
Yeah, I never understand droids. OK, let's just remove this. I'll trust it with the implementation, right? It's the work of the machine, and I'll just do the imports.
Oh. I think I understand why it crashed.
Why?
Remember you said that you should not touch the shared kernel?
Naturally, I don't want it to corrupt it.
Yes, but you just here imported tax portion and tax rate, and if I'm not wrong, yes, they come from the booking domain. But you imported that in the price that belongs to the shared kernel. So it means that you just contaminated the booking with the shared kernel with booking concern. And since the search is using the same price here, you just coupled the search with the booking and contaminated everything.
Isn't AI supposed to help us go faster? Do we have to tell it absolutely everything?
I think that even with AI, you have to make the implicit explicit. If you already played with something like Midjourney, I think you know what I'm talking about. But to know what we should do here, I would like to take a look on the other compilation error we have. Here, the tax rate on the comfort class. Why does it doesn't compile? Okay, put something in common there. It looks like he tried to make the mapping between the tax rate and the comfort class. And okay, tax rate comes from the booking domain. If we put it here, it will corrupt the comfort class from the shared kernel as well. So SHA-3PO here, this is clearly model tension. You cannot put concerns that are only needed by the booking inside the shared kernel. So it means that now you need to duplicate and specialize comfort class and price from the shared kernel. And in a way that their version of the booking are the only one having the tax portion computation feature.
Oh, I'm just a bit more useful than a Scrum Master. How extraordinary.
That's really bad to say that.
Why would you say something so brave yet so controversial?
That's not good at all. So let's see what he has done. So from the shared kernel, there are no longer comfort class any price. Okay, we should have those in the search like it used to be. Yeah, first, second, and in the price there is no computation of tax portion. Fine. And inside the booking, we should have new version of them with the mapping with, in the comfort class with the tax rates. And the tax portion computation in the price, fine.
Yeah, it's not the only thing you have here. Look, you also have a big compilation error. This droid is absolutely useless. It tried to multiply a value object with a big decimal. It just doesn't work. If you want to do this SHA-3PO, at least create the function times. It's pretty easy. In this case, you just have to return the amount, the value multiplied by the tax ratio. So just send that to production, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't understand what we do.
Yeah. Let me supervise a bit his learning because he doesn't understand. So, SHA-3PO, we just added a new feature, tax portion computation, which introduced new concept like tax rate and tax portion in the booking domain, which creates some pressure on the shared kernel, more particularly on price and comfort class that need to evolve to have new behaviors. If you let it that way, if you put the change here, it means that you will corrupt the shared kernel with booking concern, and you will also contaminate the search as well, and will create a big ball of mud. So it means that this is time to split and specialize comfort class and price in a way that the version of the booking are the only one having the tax portion computation.
And on a positive note, the shared kernel is shrinking, so we're moving toward microservices. That's pretty good. Is that the fire alarm?
I'm not sure.
Alert, alert. The last release introduced a bug in production. Our travelers cannot open past bookings. I was able to reproduce the problem. I'm opening the front end on one problematic booking. Congratulations! You just demonstrated that organics are not yet ready to replace artificial intelligences.
What are you on about? You're the one who messed up the deployment. Look, it was fine.
Yeah, what a drama droid. So, if I understand well, we are not able to open past bookings. This is annoying because of the expense feature we would like to have, right? So if we do open a past booking, we have that error. Departure cannot be in the past. Let's see if in the code from where it comes. So, OK, it looks like it comes from the schedule. Oh, yeah. We have an end variant there that makes sure that the departure is after now. But it won't work in the case of a booking if it's in the past.
Well. How's the turntables? I told you we had to duplicate and specialize the schedule already.
Yeah, when you say that, it was not true because we didn't need to open past booking, right? But now you have a point because we still have to make sure we won't search train in the past. We won't book train in the past. But once the booking is finalized, it's OK for that departure time to be in the past.
OK, so what you're saying is that for the booking, we don't need this invariant here anymore, but it will depend on the state of the booking instead. So we have to bring it back on the aggregate.
Exactly, but in the case of the booking. So SHA-3PO, here you have a model tension on the invariant. It means that we need to duplicate and specialize schedule in a way that we check that the departure of the trains is in the future only if the booking is not finalized.
This project clearly lies on my shoulders.
Oh, my headache lies on your shoulder.
Did he just change his profile picture?
I'm sure it's nothing to worry about.
It's a bit scary. So here in the shared kernel, they are no longer scheduled, right? We have one in the search that looks like what we used to have. Makes sense because we don't want to search train in the past. But in the booking, that version doesn't no longer have the invariant.
Yeah, we should still have this invariant or version at least in the booking. Hey, look, there's a new one here. Has no departure in the past when you're booking, and we check either that the booking is finalized or that all the space train have their departure in the future. So that's what we want. OK, pretty good. We get rid of the bug, send that to production. But we still have to explain to the droid why it's wrong. So Chat3PO, once again, you created modal tension. This time, it's because states that are acceptable for the schedule are not the same in the search and in the booking. Just like the rest of the modal tension, it's still the same process. We duplicate and we specialize on each side. So for the booking, the invariant has moved. Now, what should we do with this residue of shared kernel? Because we still can go to microservices.
But I thought we had that discussion already, and we won't do microservices.
I mean, look, situation has changed. Since we launched the booking, you can see that there's more and more booking, but there's a lot more searches, or at least it's growing faster.
OK, it's true that we have seen our users are doing 10 searches to find the space trains they want to book.
Exactly. And since there's very different rate of reading and writing in both, we could do some FinOps if we were in microservice and save a lot of money on infrastructure. But on top of this, as you can see here, most of the code we deployed recently are changes for the booking. We don't touch the search anymore.
Yeah, it's true that the search is stable because it's older now. With the feature pressure is on the booking. So what you imply is that we are making change in the booking that might introduce some regression, some instability
exactly.
that may have an impact on the search, despite the fact we didn't change on that part.
Completely. So you agree with me? We do need microservices.
So OK, so I do agree. We have business reason to have separated runtimes. But I won't say microservices here. Otherwise, we open that false debate about is that 10 or 20 line of code.
That's a stupid debate. Everybody knows it's 15.
What? 50?
Well, anyway, what do we do with this shared kernel that's left?
OK, so let's go to the code to see what we should do about it. So we have in the shared kernel amount and currency which remains. And there's something interesting here. You see, tax ratio in the amount should not be there. This is a concept from the booking.
Oh, no, look, it's just a big decimal. There's no import.
It's true, but this is an element of the ubiquitous language of the booking. So the thing is that we added the times function as well just for the tax portion computation. So this is still a contamination. So what we can do, we can duplicate and specialize amount in a way that its version of the booking is the only one having that times function.
OK, so if you're rid of the amount, it only leaves us with the currency.
OK, so currency is just a list of currencies. There's no behavior there. There is not a lot of complexity. And this is quite stable. We don't add a new currency every day. So we can take the trade-off of duplicate it as it, despite the fact that this is exactly the same thing. It won't cause any trouble, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll survive if you can just remove Imperial credit on both microservices at once. It's just happened once in a while. So let's just do that, and we'll be free of shared kernel.
But maybe we have another option.
What do you have in mind?
What if we go back to the state where we have amount and currency together in the shared kernel? And instead of having tax ratio here, I'm renaming that to Scala.
Well, you do get rid of the conceptual pollution, but you said it yourself. Times is only used by the booking. So if we do this, we're using the amount like a library.
Yeah, but that's a bit the point, because from the standpoint of the amount, having arithmetic separation, like plus, minus, times, and we could have divide here, makes sense, right? But this is not the only thing. The thing is that also, amount is near currency, and they are always used together, right? And sometimes together they represent a price, sometimes together they represent a tax, and sometimes together they represent a discount.
And I know what you mean. This is a money pattern.
Exactly.
So this means that we no longer have a shared kernel. All we have now are the booking, the search, the anti-corruption layer for them to communicate, and a booking bounded context that is not a shared kernel anymore.
The money.
Yeah.
So in fact, was hidden inside the shared kernel domain, which is here the money domain. And to know what we should do about that, we should perform what we call a context map. We then discover that this money domain is in fact what we call generic subdomain, which means that this is not really specific to our needs, right? It's true that as an online travel company, we don't have any specific way to represent an amount or a currency. So we can just get rid of that code and use instead an off-the-shelf open source library, just like Yoda Money, for example.
Exactly. But it means that even if we bring this development in-house, if we keep it here, it's just a library. We're not going to put any search or booking concern in it. So in the end, search and booking are just communicating through the ACL. We don't risk any contamination, so we can go to microservices pretty easily.
That was a pretty long stand-up, 40 minutes.
Average.
I won't say that. We were the two first, and they all have to pass and say what they did yesterday and what we do today.
Boring. No, I don't really care about who needs to modify a line in CSS, honestly. I'm pretty sure that we had a pretty nice conversation between architects, pretty high level, so it's better to make sure that everybody understands it.
You're as full of yourself than that droid, right? So yeah, maybe you have seen that from this discussion emerged a pattern that looks like a cellular mitosis.
Yeah, if you squint a bit, I guess.
If you squint a lot. But as George Buck said, all models are wrong, but some of them are useful. And this one can be useful especially when you start with an application that has a single responsibility or is an MVP. And as the time passes, it grows in complexity. Until one day you had a new responsibility which can be a bit orthogonal with the original purpose of that application, which will create some tension on the existing concept that will try to address several problems at the same time. Remember the space train from the search that we were trying to reusing, despite the fact that it has a list of fare that we don't need in the case of looking. If you keep it that way, it will sclerose and it will become a big ball of mud. To avoid that, you should create new modules that will represent domains in which you will dispatch all the responsibilities according to scope of responsibilities. It will drag on one side and the other some concept, and what remains in between will be our transitional shared kernel.
Transitional because since it represents the area of uncertainty where our boundaries lie, as we add complexity, we should be able to target them better, and so the shared kernel should shrink, and that's a transitional name.
But it means that we accept that the boundaries are not clear, because we don't have enough complexity to find those boundaries. We contain that in the shared kernel. But the shared kernel is not a common or a util package. This is something where you put only business concepts. Furthermore, everything you put inside the shared kernel must have the same meaning, the same representation regarding structure and types, the same invariants, and the same business rules.
This has to be true for every single bounding context that is sharing a shared kernel, because right now we only had booking and search, but we can have more. And it also means that if you share it between teams, anytime you have to modify the shared kernel, you need to ask every other team if it might impact them in a way that changes one of these rules. So you end up coupling your cognitive load completely with the one of other teams.
That's why we discourage sharing that kind of shared kernel between teams.
So now that we have these rules, we can use them as heuristic to detect modal tension. As we add complexity on one side or the other, we are tempted to modify the shared kernel in a way that will go against one of these rules. In which case, it's much better to just duplicate and specialize them on each side so that we keep two simple models.
But keep in mind that sometimes the meaning of the concept will change. For example, we used to have a fare in the shared kernel that became on one side fare option and on the other side a selected fare.
And this is an iterative process. As we add more complexity, we have more modal tension, we just keep duplicating and specializing. Eventually, though, over the course of a few weeks or few months, more likely, we end up either having no more shared kernel or a residual shared kernel.
But that phase can last several weeks, right? And this is totally fine if you ended up with something like that, because you just created something which is called a module of monolith. And it has a lot of flexibility. This is perfectly maintainable without paying the scale cost of the microservices if you do not need those.
We do sometimes have business reasons to go microservices, though, and I want to play with Kubernetes is not one, in which case we can just duplicate whatever is left of the residual shared kernel.
But you do that only if the residual shared kernel is stable enough, there is not a lot of complexity. Otherwise, you might be creating a distributed monolith, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, just like when we had the currency left.
Yeah, but sometimes you will see that instead of shrinking, that shared kernel will grow in complexity by adding more concepts or more behaviors. That might be the sign that this is a hidden bounded context, a hidden domain. And to know what you should do about that, you need to do something which is called a context map that we won't explain today. So thank you very much. I'm Julien Topcu. I'm a VP of technology at Shodo, a French consulting company, also a tech coach.
And I'm Josian Chevalier. I'm a software crafter and a tech coach as well.
And you can scan that QR code if you want to have access to the slide, to the code, and everything related to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Josian, Julien, thank you so much, or should I say merci beaucoup. Your presentation for sure will get very high feedback because it was amazing, everything from the beginning. We have a few questions, but since we are out of time, I'm going to do the announcements, and then if you want to leave, you go, and then we go on to the questions, all right? The announcements are very simple. We have a raffle going on the main stage. If you're participating in it, you can go. And we have 15 minutes. My mic is over. We have 15 minutes of break. Now, those were the announcements. Now we go for the questions. Can I have the questions on the screen, please? The first one is, actually all the questions were by not Marco for sure. I wonder who is not Marco. It's not me for sure. All right, by Obi-Wan's beard, how long do you practice the show to deliver it so flawlessly?
Too long.
So many times.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you ever create multiple separate shared kernels between two bounded contexts? Thank you.
So it never occurred to me, but sometimes if I would say that if I needed that, perhaps it's a kind of hidden bounding context. But it means also that maybe you have find a way to have separate shared kernels. I mean, if you do that explicitly upfront, maybe you have found something that have segregation of responsibility. But as a shared kernel can be as well the expression of something you already shared, like database and so on, it can exist. But I don't know exactly how to say that upfront, I mean, from a design perspective, because I never did that. I don't know for you, sir.
No, for me neither. I kind of had the situation where we started to separating it, but it was more of a strong sign that we had to make emerge another bounded context, which was generic between the two. So more likely, if you end up having this need, it's you should redraw your context map and think of the relationship between them.
All right. Given that the standard hyperspace route between Tatooine and Mandalore takes a few hours to traverse, why is it your ticket showing a duration of 4 to 5 days?
Because originally, that backend was made to travel from the Earth to the Moon, and we took the time from the Apollo mission, and we just rebranded everything for that talk as Mandalore Express.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's also because sometimes you have space parrots, and they can block you a pretty long time if you don't pay.
Wouldn't you define a money context still as a shared kernel when the ownership is shared by both other teams?
So if this is a context, I won't say it's really a shared kernel. For me, a shared kernel is something you deliberately decide to share as common part of models between different models, the different teams. I would say it's a bounded context by itself in that case, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, when the ownership is shared by both other teams.
It's more that, yeah, for me, you have a bounded context when you're not sure exactly how to extract this part of if it makes sense by itself. So that's why you just end up sharing it, because the two models kind of branch from this. But a money is pretty, there's clear boundaries on it, you know, you can easily remove it.
I would say why not? If you are sure that the responsibility is not that blurry, because a shared kernel can have a responsibility which is not really clear, having a lot of things which is shared, and sometimes it becomes a kind of, you know, place where you put everything in between. But in that case, it can be okay, I think, because it can be okay because if the responsibility is clear, perhaps, but.
Thank you so very much for this amazing presentation.
Thank you
Can
very
we join hands again for
Thank
that?
you.
Thank you so much.